Hello and welcome to Plugged In. What's on your New Year's resolution list? Staying active, making healthier food choices. Well, you've come to the right place. On this episode, Real dietitian Beverly takes us shopping and has some helpful hints to reading labels on food packaging. Then, Talking Kidney takes a yoga class to begin his shape up in the new year. And we're talking to doctors at St. Paul's Continuing Education Conference about what potential signs of kidney disease they look for in their patients. It's all next, right here on Plugged In.
So I'm here on location today, downtown Vancouver, at St. Paul's Conference for Primary Care Physicians. We've got some great pieces coming up. Today we're going to talk to doctors about the prevalence of kidney disease in their practice. What kind of symptoms do they see from patients who walk through their doors? As we know, the symptoms for kidney disease are often silent, and early diagnosis is really, really important. So we want to hear from primary care physicians, the ones on the front lines. What do they see each and every day in their practice, and some of the things that they can share with us so we are aware of those risk factors. So please don't go anywhere. We've got a great show coming up. So one of the things that I was kind of curious about is, in your practice, your current practice, do you see a lot of patients coming through with symptoms for kidney disease? And if so, what does that look like? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was really surprised to see the number of patients I see day-to-day life who has no awareness of any kidney disease that they are having. Especially the patients with diabetic nephropathy is a very common thing I see in Alberta, in Calgary, where I do work. The other thing is I also have noticed like IgA nephropathy, which is some accidental finding, along with we do a routine checkup and we see some abnormal kidney function, and then we go behind and we find that patients are having IgA nephropathy. That is especially from Asian crowd, I see that more. So it's a good awareness that we can pick up certain things from a routine annual checkup even. And especially I have also patients with the high blood pressure. It is very important to watch out for proteinuria, which is where we see in routine urine test that amount of protein is being excreted, and then we pick up from there and we go behind. So I think the Kidney Foundation is doing a great job, and also especially people with the IgA nephropathy, diabetic nephropathy, people who have end-stage kidney disease have no hope having a transplant option, and we can register and teaching them, and also the dialysis that you have started at home, which they can feel comfortable and keep doing. So I really appreciate your foundation and your hard work, and I'm excited to go forward.
Can you just, you mentioned all the big high risk factors in there, diabetes, high blood pressure, certain ethnic populations. So in your practice, your current practice right now, how prevalent, I guess, would you say sort of the diagnosis of kidney disease is?
You will be surprised to know that it is quite a major amount that we find now, unlike before. I don't know whether we were aware of it, or now we look for it, or we pick up routinely. It's all adds up and numbers are increasing. And the lifestyle and the renal issues with which people come is more, they are more knowledgeable. They read up and they want to have, like, I feel puffiness of face, or my blood pressure is always up. Doctor, is there anything wrong with my kidney? These are the strange questions that we hear from them now these days. So I think they are learning more about kidney diseases. I don't know whether your foundation has anything to do with that, but people are more aware of what to look for, how to report to the doctor.
Actually, that is very good news to hear because, one of the things that we always say is kidney disease often flies under the radar. And so a lot of people are not fully aware of what the risk factors are. And sometimes in the early stages, you don't even see symptoms until, their kidney function has dropped to quite a low level. So it's good that the awareness is up. And that is certainly a major thing that we're trying to do is to push out early education, early awareness of kidney disease. When you have a patient that has been just diagnosed with kidney disease, what are some of the common things? I mean, you think about, holding those numbers as long as possible. So are there certain things you may recommend in terms of diet and exercise?
So the most important is connecting them with a good dietitian who can give you some headlines, what to eat, what not to eat, and how to be, the importance of having more fluid in your system. What are the signs to look for when you are dehydrated, how to rehydrate. So all these are important points, I think, as a common normal people they can ignore and can get into severe kidney problems. The most important thing I feel that is the diabetic patients, when they are dehydrated, they can get into ketoacidosis and can have acute renal failure, and the drugs that they should be avoiding like NSAIDs.
Absolutely. Well, those are great tips there, Dr. David. Thank you so much for that. I know you're here today. You're down here at the conference, the St. Paul's Conference for Primary Physicians. How's it going so far?
As I said, this is my first visit to this convention, and I'm so surprised to see there are 1,600 family physicians attending this, and it's been saying they're sold out. I thought, what is that? Sold out the conference seat? That was amazing, and we get connected with so many different physicians who work in different situations, like emergency physician doing both the locums, physicians doing only office-based family practice. We have been given so much opportunities to see and connect and learn a lot, and the topics to this year's conference was excellent and fabulous. I am enjoying. I learned a lot.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much, Dr. David. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Hey, honey, I lost the list for Jason's birthday thing. Obviously, hamburger, cakes. No, not hamburger cakes. Hamburgers and cake. And buns, sausage.
Okay. Ooh, eye candy.
Is it a full moon tonight? People are being weird. And don't forget to make the Facebook event private this time. Okay, bye.
Can you imagine losing most of something without realizing it? Over time, kidney disease can destroy up to 80% of kidney function before you notice any symptoms. Talk to your family doctor to see if you're at risk and need to be screened. It could save your life.
Hi, welcome to Healthier You. I'm Beverly, a dietitian at St. Paul's Hospital. Food labels can tell us a lot about the nutritional value of our food and can help you make food choices that are best for you. Today I'm going to show you how to simplify label reading when you go grocery shopping with these 3 easy steps. Come, follow me. Step 1, look for the serving size. Compare the serving size to the amount you actually eat. If you eat the serving size amount, you will get the amount of calories and nutrients listed on the table. When comparing 2 food labels, make sure to note the serving size, as it may vary by product or brand. You may need to adjust the numbers to make the nutrient values comparable. Keep in mind that the serving size is not necessarily the recommended amount you should eat. Let's head over to the next aisle to look at nutrition facts tables. Step 2, turn to the nutrition facts table. The nutrition facts table provides a snapshot of the amount of nutrients in the serving size of a food item. Depending on your eating plan, you may need more or less of certain nutrients. Work with your dietitian to determine what eating plan is best for you. Most people with kidney disease and the general population need to limit their sodium intake. Look at the sodium content on the nutrition facts table. A good guideline to remember is that less than 5% daily value is low and greater than 50% daily value is high. If you have diabetes, choosing foods with less added sugar and more fiber can help manage your blood sugars. Compare the number of grams of sugar and fiber to determine which product is better for you. Some people with kidney disease also need to watch their potassium and phosphorus intake. Potassium and phosphorus are not required to be listed on the nutrition facts table. Just because it's not listed, it does not mean that the food product does not contain any. Let's head over to the next aisle to look at some ingredients lists. Step 3, make sure you look at the ingredients list. The ingredients list shows all the ingredients in a packaged food. Look at the ingredients list for phosphate additives. Ingredients with PHOS, such as phosphoric acid, sodium phosphate, and monocassium phosphate, are all phosphate additives that should be avoided. If you have diabetes, look for products that have fewer added sugars, such as high fructose corn syrup, glucose, fructose, and cane sugar. Keep in mind the more processed the food, the more additives and ingredients it will contain. A good rule of thumb is that food products that have fewer ingredients is what you should go for. Now let's head over to the snack aisle to put these tips into action. Let's compare these two snack items. Step 1, make note of the serving size. Product 1 serving size is 10 crackers or 19 grams. Product number 2 is 4 crackers, also 19 grams. The serving sizes are both 19 grams, so we don't have to adjust the nutrient values before we compare them. Step 2, compare the nutrition facts table. The sodium content in product number 1 is 11%, compared to product number 2, which is 1%. In product 1, it contains 2 grams of sugar and no fiber, whereas product number 2 has 2 grams of fiber and no sugar. Step 3, look at the ingredients list for phosphate additives. Product number 1 contains sodium phosphate, whereas product number 2 does not contain any phosphate additives. By using these 3 simple steps, we can determine that product number 2 is a better choice. I hope you're able to use these 3 simple tips to make label reading easier on your next grocery shopping trip. Thank you for joining me on Healthier You. See you next time on Plugged In.
Well, Dr. Sear, I see you're on a break here from the conference. Thanks so much for joining us here in our little Plugged In studio.
You're very welcome.
So you were telling me you're actually in Quesnel for about 40 years practicing and now here in West Vancouver.
73 until 2013.
And you came down here to retire, but you're actually still practicing.
I graduated 50 years ago, but I have to give present-day medicine, so I have to come to these courses to update my skills and my knowledge.
So how are you finding the conference this year?
Excellent. The short, sharp lectures are good. They're keeping us up to date, and I've learned an awful lot in this so far this week.
You know, we were talking about kidney disease and the prevalence of it. What are some of the symptoms that you look for or you see in patients that come to your practice that, you know, potentially have kidney disease?
Most don't have symptoms. I'm finding it when I'm looking for kidney problems in diabetics and in patients with hypertension and in elderly folk whom I'm giving medications to that I want to make sure that they're excreting those medications. So most patients are totally asymptomatic.
Well, actually, you hit it right on the head. That's one of the challenges of the Kidney Foundation is that it's such an under-recognized disease, and yet 1 in 10 Canadians is affected by kidney disease. When you see patients that have perhaps diabetes, hypertension, some of the high risk factors, are they aware of the link between that and kidney disease?
Usually not, and they're surprised when I tell them or show them on a graph that their kidney function is less than normal. And so they don't like to be classified as having kidney disease. I think the awareness is low, but when they think kidney disease, they think dialysis, and that's the next step. And they don't understand that this is a very slow, progressive process that needs to be looked after.
So when you see a patient, what sort of things might trigger to you that perhaps this is someone that should get their creatinine levels tested or you know, that they might might be at risk of kidney disease?
Anyone with hypertension who's on medications, anyone with diabetes who's on medications. We monitor their kidney function as a matter of good medicine and good course. And so these are people we're looking for that.
You were mentioning a little bit earlier also about the demographic within your practice as well. Is that something also that's a risk factor?
As people get older, their kidney function can, in certain circumstances, start decreasing. And so, if we're going to prescribe medications for that sort of group, we will check their kidney function as a matter of routine. If they're coming in for a checkup because of some other symptoms, we will be checking their kidney function anyway.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Great information, much appreciated, taking time out of the conference to join us here today, and maybe we'll see you here next year.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Well, what an informative day here at the St. Paul's Hospital Continuing Medical Educational Conference. It's been a great opportunity to speak with some general practitioners, learn a little bit more about signs that they're looking for when they diagnose someone with kidney disease. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Plugged In.
Welcome to yoga class, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, we have Dave Savage. Thank you. We have David C. Jones. You look wonderful. Are you sure you want to leave your jacket on?
Oh, the host always wears the jacket.
Okay. And Sidney the Kidney, you look fabulous too. Before we start, though, I just want to say briefly, you do not have to be flexible to do yoga, okay? A lot of people think that you do. You absolutely do not. Doing yoga regularly will actually add to your mobility, but it's not a prerequisite to be flexible. The other thing that's important to understand is yoga is a state of mind. It's all about clearing your mind. So all this breathing that we do, all these shapes we put ourselves into, it's all about just making the mind more relaxed and making everything stress-free, okay? We'll come to sit now. Bring the bottoms of your feet to touch. This is Baddha Konasana. Now grab a hold of your shins, press into your pelvis and sit up nice and tall. Reach through the top of your head. Take a big inhale here, and then as you exhale, start to lengthen forward, nice and slow. So don't round your spine just yet. When you run out of breath, take another big breath in.
I'm pretending I'm a tree falling very slowly.
And then as you exhale, lengthen forward again. And just keep working on folding your belly into your spine, underneath your rib cage. And eventually you'll get to a point where your body doesn't go any further. That's totally fine.
Oh, I'm really feeling that stretch. That's rude, that stretch.
Roll yourself slowly up. Oh, good, Sidney. You won that roll up. You were the slowest. Perfect. And just sit up nice and tall and just give yourself an opportunity.
It wasn't about speed?
It was. The slowest wins.
Oh, man. This is always fun to realize, Jamie, to your point earlier, that it's really never too late to start a good yoga practice. And you can start really anywhere.
Yes.
I'm definitely not a practitioner of yoga, but this is really fun for me, and it's pretty easy to get started.
Now, we're going to do a wonderful, wonderful movement that I almost do in every single class I teach called cat-cow. It's a beautiful way to warm up the spine.
There's no such thing as a cat-cow.
There is in the yoga. This is the thing. You're about to learn it.
This was like a whole back massage.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. That is exactly what it is. Really nice. And so just take nice big breaths into your lower back. It's a really wonderful way to stretch out your back body. And you can also stack your forearms here if you want to, Dave, just so that you can rest your forehead on something. Yeah. Really good, you guys. All right, are you guys ready to balance?
I can't even balance a checkbook.
Oh, you'll be good at this, I promise.
Okay.
No, I don't promise. You might not be. It's okay, though. You don't have to be good at everything.
Okay.
Bring your hands together.
I have some skills.
Place your hands in front of your heart. Push into your right foot, lift up your left heel, and spiral your left hip crease back so the inside of your thigh faces forward. And then place your left foot at your ankle and just start there, especially if you're new to balancing.
Okay.
And things will wobble and things will shift, and that's okay.
Okay.
If you're feeling more steady, you can always bring your foot up a little higher to your shin. I encourage everybody to avoid the knee, above or below the knee.
It's like someone's tickling me. Yeah, now all over my body, it feels really tickly. Is that common in yoga?
Well, not usually.
Because like when you stretch the muscles, does it feel like it's tickling you? Like I feel all the way up into the top of my head now. It's a very unique sensation.
You must just be very lucky.
I am an oak tree.
Yes. And then you can grow your tree branches up above you and really let your upper body reach up.
I'm a willow tree now. I'm a willow.
Remember to breathe. So in addition to making you more adept at balance and therefore less susceptible to falling as you age, this is one of the reasons balance is so good, because you have to also focus so much on grounding in the lower half of your body, it can actually be really grounding for the mind as well.
Oh.
Yeah. And then as you exhale, bring your hands into prayer just in front of your heart. And then steer your right knee forward and place your right foot down. Good job, Sidney. And just keep your hands in prayer for a moment all together. Let's take a nice big breath in through the nose. Let it go through the mouth. And then bow to your own heart just to honor your efforts today. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. You guys did so well. Thank you so much for being here.
A+ on wobbly.
Oh, good job. Sidney the Kidney, you look amazing.
Oh, you are wired.
Remember, yoga is for everybody. So please do a little practice, 5 minutes a day even. It makes such a difference.
Okay, guys, that was a great workout today. Well done. That was lots of fun.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about earlier was, making small changes in your life. So whether it's adapting a yoga practice and learning how, and we also find the same when people are trying to adapt to a plant-based diet, you can make really small steps. And so one good small step is a post-workout yoga. Yogurt.
Yogurt. It's a yogurt.
It's a yogurt.
We did yoga, now we're doing yogurt. And this is delicious.
Thank you.
This is like, this is the peach one. And it's like a custard almost. Like it's really tasty.
Yeah, so we always try to emphasize that there's really no compromise when you're trying a plant-based diet. So you can really enjoy a great yogurt. If you can get the lid open, you can enjoy a plant-based yogurt.
Sydney, you need to learn to be self-sufficient.
See, I think when
you're not always going to be here, Sydney. You're going to have to figure out how to eat your yogurt on your own. I'm almost all done. Sydney, don't use that spoon. It's dirty.
And that's what happens when you fall off your plant-based diet.
And joining us now from London, Ontario, actually, is Dr. Sardar Ahmed. Thank you for joining us on Plugged In.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Are you enjoying your time here at the conference?
Oh, absolutely. I always enjoy this conference, and that's why I come almost every year.
Oh, fantastic. So, and we've got some great weather for you here in Vancouver.
Oh, absolutely. Much different than Ontario, where we have a lot of snowfall, a lot of cold. So it's a good time, to be here.
Oh, terrific. So you come to this conference every year, and we're at the Kidney Foundation, and we're here today actually to see, the frequency perhaps in your practice in London, Ontario. What would be the frequency of one of your patients that would come in the door and maybe have some signs that would signal that maybe they're in a stage of kidney disease?
Yeah, so definitely is actually very high. I don't have a stats, but definitely very high, especially in our seniors and also in my patients who have other comorbidities. Other medical conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, previous history of heart diseases, strokes. So I usually screen those patients and actually find different levels of chronic kidney diseases in those patients, and these are pretty high.
Actually, you touched upon something very important, which is the high-risk factors. And so patient that you might see with diabetes, do they usually know that there's a connection with kidney disease, or is that something that usually comes to a surprise to them, that the link between, hypertension or diabetes with kidney disease?
That's a very good question. To be honest with you, most of them know. So they have heard probably about foot amputations and all those kind of things, but most of them are not aware that there is association of diabetes with kidney diseases, and this will come to the surprise. But the good thing is that once you educate them, they really take it serious, and they usually come for their regular follow-ups and regular blood works, and usually they strive to work for the betterment of their blood sugar levels.
It's very interesting that you say that, because it's very prevalent. It's 1 in 10 Canadians has kidney disease, but it's an under-recognized disease, and I think that's what you're saying as well.
Absolutely. I usually take my time because I have specific diabetes days. Usually on Thursdays, I see my diabetic patients because the numbers are really high, and I usually, when I give them the numbers that in Canada we have about 6.5 million people with diabetes. That's just in a country of 36 million people. That's basically a big number. So they usually take it very serious when I discuss about their complications, including that it is a leading cause of blindness in North America, and also one of the leading cause of kidney failures, in North America and almost all over the world. Then once you educate them, then the patients take it serious.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying your time here. I see everything's gotten quiet, so I think everything's back on with the conference, but we appreciate you taking your time, Dr. Ahmad, to join us here on Plugged In.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for taking your time. Thanks.
We've learned some great information today from primary care physicians about what they see on the front lines in their office with patients who may be exhibiting risk factors or symptoms for kidney disease. We hope you have found this episode really informative, and thanks so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Did you know one organ donor can save up to 8 lives?
You're more likely to need a transplant than you are to become an organ donor.
Donation is considered only after all life-saving efforts are made, and it's certain you will not survive.
So 2 physicians who are independent of both the donation program and of the transplant program must declare an individual neurologically dead before organ donation can proceed.
Any British Columbian who is 19 or older can register their decision about organ donation, and parents can register their children.
You only need to register your decision once.
A decal on your driver's license or care card is no longer enough.
Register or verify your decision about organ donation at transplant.bc.ca. And now you know.
And now you know.
And now you know.
And now you know.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much for coming through for us. Yay! We represented BC. We're here at the Vancouver Convention Centre for the 65th annual St. Paul's Hospital Continuing Medical Foundation. Okay.